All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday evening. If you are hanging out with us on Facebook Live, thank you so much for tuning in wherever it is that you are watching. My name is Justin. I'm on staff at Elm Street, and I have with me the fabulous Teundras Oaks, who you have seen a multitude of times in a multitude of roles here. So, Teundras, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
All right, so we're just gonna jump right into things. So I do have some questions lined up to ask Teundras, but if you have any questions that you would like for me to ask her during this interview, go ahead and use, I was gonna say use the chat, but go ahead and throw a comment into this video. And, right, and we will we'll answer that and learn all that it is to know about our wonderful educator, director, instructor, culmination person.
Oh, that's enough. I love it.
So, Teundras, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, sure. We love these interview questions. My name is Teundras. I live in Marietta. I've been teaching, educating, directing for maybe the past 5 years. I went to Georgia Southern University down in good old Statesboro. I love sweets. I enjoy the beach and traveling. I love working with kids and yeah, and I like movies.
There you go. Do you have a favorite movie that you'd like to share?
No. I love them all. I don't have just one favorite movie. I can watch every movie just about.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair. We'll leave it at that. So what got you started into theater and the arts? What was your journey to where you are today?
Okay. I think that I've always wanted to be, well, I know that I always wanted to be in the entertainment industry when I was like really young, even watching TV as a kid. I loved like That's So Raven and shows like that. And I was like, oh, I could do that. So I didn't get into, I was always like making my own shows and like writing my own things at home, but I didn't take my first drama class until I was in middle school. I joined the drama club and we had this presentation where we had to do these monologues. So I had this monologue, and literally the day before I decided that I didn't want to do it anymore. I wasn't feeling it. So I switched my monologue and I tried to learn it as fast as I could because I liked that one better. And then I got on stage and I forgot the whole thing. And I was mortified. It was so embarrassing. I just tried to say what I could remember. And I was like, okay, thank you. And then I left the stage and I didn't get back into drama until college because I was just so embarrassed and sad. So yeah, once I got in college, I was a journalism major. And then I had a theater major, but then I decided I had to choose between getting a role in a play or taking this position on our newspaper in college. And I chose the role in the play. And then that's when I changed my major to theater. And I've been doing productions, and that's when I took my first directing classes and my first education class for children. I did children's theater for the first time, and I really loved that. And then post-college, I found Elm with Reptor, and they haven't really been able to get rid of me since.
And we don't want to get rid of you because you are fabulous.
Yay! I'm not going anywhere, so that's good.
Good. Well, you had talked about and it seems like the perfect plot or conflict of being a journalism major and having to choose between these two roles. So already I feel like your life is a very theatrical piece, which I think is very fun.
Right. In my head, I was playing like, okay, 5 years from now, where could I be in journalism? 5 years from now, where could I be in theater? And even knowing those truths, I still chose theater.
Now, with the degree that you went getting in theater, did you have any sort of like specialization or things that you focused on while you were there?
I didn't. Hopefully they've started to change this in Southern, but there wasn't really any specialization there. It was just theater. But you know, if you were on the more tech side, you would take more design classes. If you were more on the acting side, you take more acting classes and things like that. They made sure that you had a good range of taking all the classes just to see where you fit in the most. But no, we weren't able to specialize in anything.
Gotcha. So I guess two-parter. What drew you to directing specifically, and then also what directed you to children's theater?
So that's a great question. I I've always been good at seeing like an overall view of things and concepts, and I guess like the backside of it, I'm pretty organized and I like to do my research on things. And I do like I like being over people. So yeah, my first directing class, I really liked it. And my professor noticed that I enjoyed it and she thought my work was good. So she signed me up for like a second directing class. It was like an advanced directing where she would choose a few people to continue on. And I did that. And I liked that too. And I guess I was getting some really good feedback. So it was like, oh, okay, like not only do I think that I've kind of found like my niche, but other people think so too. It's not just me. So I was like, oh, I want to continue this. And then it actually just happened to happen getting into like children's theater and directing children with the shows I've done at Elm Street, because Siobhan just randomly asked me one day if I wanted to co-direct with her when she was doing Zombie Prom. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity. And then we did it together along with School of Rock. And then I finally got Madagascar along with Christina. She told me to shout her out. So there you are. Hi, Christina. And yeah, I loved it.
Awesome. No, that is great. So with directing, have you found that there's like a particular style of show that you like to direct? You know, like plays, whether that's like more contemporary stuff or musicals. Where do you kind of find kind of your sweet spot in the types of material that you like as a director?
I actually really like musicals, which is funny because I cannot sing, or everyone can sing, but I'm not the best singer. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not the best singer. So, but I'm really drawn to musicals. I think it's really cool to just be able to tell a story through music and dance. And I don't really have too much background in like dance and as far as training goes, but you know, I know my ones and twos. I can hear a beat. So I do like to choreograph when I can. And I just like seeing like all of those elements come together with the music, the choreography, the acting. Like I can't tell you how many times I've watched Hamilton since it's come out on Disney Plus.
Yeah, no, I feel like everyone has watched it at least once, probably more than once. And I think it's really interesting that you brought up, you don't consider yourself to be a musical theater type of performer, but you enjoy directing those kind of pieces. And I think that that's something that we're seeing as a shift in the theater world, because back in the day, musicals normally like the director choreographer were normally like a combo. But right, we're seeing a lot more of, someone is like strictly in a directorial role, and their job is really just to focus on the book work and the scene work. And some of these directors that we're seeing for musicals have a lot of experience in, doing more straight plays. So that
Mm-hmm.
brings more of that, that like traditional acting work. So
Right.
that way, it doesn't seem as fluff
Right.
as sometimes people can think musical theater acting can be.
And I think that's what the audience wants. Most people, we are hesitant to change, but seeing all of these new works come out and all these new musicals has just opened a door for more things to happen. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot on the horizon, especially once, theaters are able to like fully reopen and be able to do what it is that they do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're going to see a lot more contemporary works, and we're going to continue to see works that challenge us and ask us questions, and really allow us to have those kind of conversations as good art should.
Right.
Um, and speaking with that, since we're kind of on that vein, I would love to hear some of your thoughts and your takes on the importance of representation in theater, whether that's on stage, off stage, part of the creative team. I'd love to hear, what your thoughts are on that, and just really the importance of being able to represent as much as possible.
Yeah, I think from like you were saying, from behind the scenes to on stage, it's just so important to have diversity. I don't think, even thinking of like my childhood, I can think of maybe the first time that I had like a person of color to teach me, to see a person of color on screen, things like that. And those things meant so much to me because I was like, oh, well, if they could do it, I could do it. So not only having people on stage just for diversity, I think that your writers and the plays that you choose and the background, the tech, everybody should have a different background because it just brings a different perspective. It bring like that's what art is. It's a collaboration. And when you have so many people maybe with the same background or just with the same thoughts and the way that they think, then you're going to have a one-sided product, and that one-sided product is only going to appeal to a specific type of audience. A lot of people don't go to the theater because they don't think that there's anything there for them. They don't think that their story is being told. So as us as storytellers and as directors and producers, and if you want to get into movie and film and things like that, we have to make that step outside to find people not only to play slaves, not only to play, I guess, just stereotypical type of characters, but normal people with normal problems, because that's what all of us face every single day, no matter what we look like or what color our skin is.
Yes, no, I think you did a really nice job of just expressing, what a lot of people are feeling in terms of representation. And I feel like we are starting to see a reckoning, and organizations and companies really taking a look at, okay, this is the work that we do, you know how can we do it as best as possible, and how are we able you know to be diverse and to be inclusive, and make sure that the stories that we're telling are reflecting just the diverse community that we have.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we need more stories, and more creatives, from all sides of the table, to
Hmm.
be able to feel like their voice is heard and that they are seen. So I love, 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 love what you said in regards to that. Um, and you have been involved with Reptor the past few years. For those of you who don't know, Reptor is our touring performance theater for young audiences troupe that through grant funding, we're able to go to various elementary schools throughout Cherokee County as well as Cobb. And the students we get to put on a show for them. So that they normally get two choices between like a fairy tale or a fable and like a Dr. Seuss story. And then the other part of Reptor is one of the big missions behind that is to really incorporate and celebrate storytelling and being able to tell stories. So students get to write original stories, and in a very fun improvisational manner, the troupe then acts them out, just live in front of the kids, not having read any of them before. So they're always a lot of fun to just kind of figure out, okay, here we go. Teundras, do you want to talk a little bit about your Reptor experience over the past few years? Some of the things that you've done in Reptor, maybe like some takeaways.
Yeah, I love Reptor. It's one of my favorite things to do in life, to be honest. It's a lot of fun. I think I enjoy the rehearsal part the most, because that's when you just get to know the troupe members and how they work and how they see comedy, and you get to just create like the best stories with each other, and then you just get so comfortable with each other that once you're on stage in front of the children, you don't have a problem jumping on their back or chasing after them or laying on them, because like that's your troupe buddy. They know you and you just have that relationship now. I love the stories. The kids get to write their own stories, and then we perform them on stage right on the spot. And we have seen the craziest things and the funniest things. We've seen stories that we didn't even know the kids knew about that topic. We had 2 stories back to back where the children were talking about Snoop Dogg. So that was really fun, to keep that G-rated because we have no idea how like these 2nd graders have found Snoop Dogg. But it's a really good process, and it introduces, I know there's a lot of Dr. Seuss stories that I really didn't know about. I knew the classics, but there were some I didn't know about that I learned, as well as the fables. I learned the true story of Rumpelstiltskin, and I can't remember. Oh, we've done so many, and I can't remember them all at this moment. But yeah, it's also a really good learning process for us too as a troupe.
Prior to being involved in Reptor, did you do anything similar to this or have involvement in, more of those TYA Theater for Young Audience shows?
Actually, I did Reptor maybe like 6 months after I graduated, but when I was in college, that children's theater class I took, we actually performed a play. It was an adaptation of Little Red Riding Hood. It's called Totally Red, where we do like 10 different adaptations of Little Red in like 20 minutes. But it was basically the same concept, which is really cool. We rehearsed it, and then our professor booked us with local elementary schools around our college. So every morning when we'd have class, we'd go to that school and perform those shows.
Oh,
So it's pretty
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, it really did mirror each other, where we would all gang up in somebody's car, drive all of our equipment there, set up, do the play, and then come back, which is Reptor.
Yeah. How have you been able to keep yourself busy and creative during this time when, right now there's not a lot of projects to be involved in? What kind of things are you doing to keep yourself not only entertained, but still feel like you're continuing to work on, on your craft?
Yeah. At the beginning, there was a lot of Netflix, because when none of us really knew what was going on. And then I realized that this was a really good break for myself. I think being in this industry, you are always questioning your worth and your value and what you can bring to the table. So it was honestly a really nice time to kind of stop and reflect on what I've been doing and what I want to do, where I want to go, and how I can get there. So I truly have not been too active. I write a lot just to get my thoughts out. I have a personal trainer now. I know that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I was like, if I can get anything out of 2020, even though like a lot of us have lost a lot of our jobs, you know, I'm gonna come out with a great body personally. So I have a trainer now, and I'm just focusing on myself mentally and physically. I just started this thing on Instagram where I'll make a charcuterie board, but I'll like my voiceover is talking about the true story behind a horror movie because I love aesthetically pleasing food and I also love horror movies.
So
So
why not combine them?
yeah, so why not combine them? I've really been looking into like my passions and what I'm good at and just trying to find things for myself, not so much for other people or what I want to present to the world. But yeah, I think this is a really good year to just focus on yourself and find that inner happiness.
That is such a great approach to reacting to this year. I know for a lot of people it can be really easy, to just get down and feel like that they're stuck or hopeless and they don't have anything to do or to be able to look forward to. But I really appreciated you speaking to the idea of continuing to ignite those passions that you have and
Mhm.
finding new ways to be able to do that. So whether that is making a charcuterie board and overlaying it with the plot to insert horror movie here, or being like, I want to focus on having a healthy mind as well as a healthy body,
Yeah.
and taking those steps to do that. I think that's something that can sometimes be overlooked, because we're just kind of focused on, all right, I just need to get through this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
think that everything magically will then fall into place after this is all said and done.
Right. And there are some days where I'm up and I'm great and I'm like, it's a new day. And then there's some days where I'm not so great. And I think realizing that everybody is not so great in their own ways. And if you can, reach out to someone because everybody feels like they can't reach out to someone because they don't want to listen or they don't want to bother them. But if we all feel that way, then no one's talking. So I've actively had to push myself to talk to people because we're all going through the same thing.
Yeah, no, that like hit the nail right on the head with that. I could not agree with you more about the importance of not being afraid to reach out when you need it, because we all get in situations where we need someone and to where someone has reached out to us for help. So if we're willing to do that for someone else, we should give ourselves that opportunity as well to ask for that help in return. Um,
100%. Mm-hmm.
Before we head off, I would love to hear your thoughts on the importance of theater and the arts and arts education right now, and just why they are so vital, especially in this moment, but also pre and post.
Yeah. I think, well, in general, art is just, I feel like we're born with it, we're born expressing ourselves as children. We role play without even realizing what we're actually doing. We pretend that things are there when they're really not. And unfortunately, for some, we start losing that mindset and we get a little bit more realistic and logical. And some of us, we stay that way and we get a little zany. But I think it's important for all aspects. It's collaboration, it's working with each other. I feel like like all parts of your brain are are highlighted when you're doing theater, in any area. So even now it's super important, even if you're just watching movies or just creating your own content at home. TikTok, I feel like, is a form of theater. I'm on TikTok in my old age now, just because I like looking at other people's content. People, especially this next generation, they are so creative.
Yes, they are.
So creative with the things that they can do in like 15 seconds on that platform. And that's theater. You know what I mean? I feel like it's everywhere. It's in everything. And we have to keep it alive. We have to keep making it inclusive, and representation matters, and just put on the best content we can and support each other and support each other's ideas. Yeah.
Yes, all about it. Speaking of support, I'm just going to quickly check to see if we have any questions come in from Instagram, but I know that through Facebook, you have gotten some support and some love, so I'm going to go ahead and give them shout outs as well.
Hey.
Laura says, I love Teundras so much. And we're like, yes, Laura, same, queen, icon, legend. And then Christina is getting a second shout out in this video. So like,
yes,
ultra fan. She says in all caps, woohoo, go, and then tag Teundras. Exclamation, 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 exclamation. So 4 exclamation points.
A funny story about Laura, I don't know if she tells you about this, but every blue moon, every once in a while, she'll text me about our Blockbuster play from camp that year. And she's like, I just had to let you know, I was thinking about it. It was amazing. Okay, bye. I'm like, oh, that means so much. That was a great play. Thank you.
Yes, that one was one of my favorites. And then the All Girls Week also, like the Female Empowerment Week, was so good.
Those are my top 2 as well. Those were great weeks.
Awesome. Well, y'all, we are going to hop off, but again, Teundras, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and sharing a little bit about yourself and just who you are as a person as well as a creative. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Justin. Happy to be here.
All right, and to everyone who is watching, thank you for watching and participating and enjoying. We hope to see you soon, whether that's online or at some of our socially distant events that we're going to be having outside in the near future. So go ahead and check that out. But in the meantime, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and we will see you when we see you. All right, bye.